That's why I'm so pleased this morning to have Josh Fryday with us. Josh is no stranger to PCC. He stood with this community during the wildfires, visiting and deploying scores of volunteers to help and to serve. And he's been back many times since then to support our recovery efforts. Josh is California's Chief Service Officer. Chief Service Officer. As a member of Governor Gavin Newsom's cabinet, he leads the Governor's Office of Service and Community Engagement. Many of the ideas that we've been talking about here today. He also serves as the California Governor's Council for Career Education. Please join me in welcoming Josh Fryday.
Good morning, PCC. How are you? It is really meaningful and almost emotional for me to be invited to be with you all today because of what I've experienced on this campus. As I was driving up this morning to join you all, I thought about when I stepped on this campus in January. When I stepped on this campus where there was still smoke in the sky, there was ash in the air. And I remember driving into the parking lot and getting out of the car and making my way towards the steps up to the surface, where I was immediately struck by the sight of not dozens, but hundreds of volunteers, people from all backgrounds, people speaking different languages, of all ages, from all parts of our city, who were lining the stairs, passing boxes up to each other and chanting and smiling and screaming, "We are in this together, we are not alone." And when I came up from the parking structure onto the top level, what I saw was not just an outpouring of clothes and food and hygiene kits, sometimes packed so high you couldn't see over the mountain of gifts that this community stepped up to donate. I saw an outpouring of love and compassion and community. And it reminded me of another Friday. A Friday where I was stationed in Japan and a 9.0 earthquake hit. Now, we're all Californians. We're used to earthquakes. This thing was 3 minutes long. It immediately led to a tsunami that instantly killed tens of thousands of people, displaced hundreds of thousands of people. And within a couple of days, we started to get intel reports, because we had a nuclear aircraft carrier on base, that radiation was coming down from a place called Fukushima that was starting to melt down. Now, it was supposed to be an exciting week that week because my wife was 3 months pregnant with our first kid. So we were all excited to call home and tell our family that their first grandchild was on the way. And my captain called me in her office and she said, "You have 3 hours to get down to Okinawa to join the admiral and the ship that would oversee what would become the largest humanitarian aid and disaster relief effort in military history." My wife was evacuated. Eventually, she returned several months later. Our son was born, and I appreciate your concern, but he only glows in the dark just a little bit. Here's why I tell this story. Not because I was the hero. Quite the opposite. I played a small role in a large operation. But leadership is not about being the hero. It is about being part of something. It is about working with others, people who probably come from different backgrounds, different perspectives, may speak different languages, may vote differently than you. To help people, to have a common mission, a common purpose. That's what you all provided for this community when those fires hit. And the question now is, for the many crises that you mentioned that we're also facing. Not just natural disasters, but we have a political crisis on our hands. We have a climate crisis. We have an affordability and a housing crisis. We have a crisis of cruelty and connection where we feel so divided and polarized and isolated from each other. The question is, how are we going to tackle these? And what can we, all of us, join to be part of the solution? What can we be part of? And the truth is that in order to rebuild and renew our communities and our state, as we heard in the video, no single person can do it alone. No single organization can do it alone. It takes community. It takes what you all provided when those fires hit. And I'm standing here today having this position because the governor in the state of California believes so much, so deeply in the power of service. The power of service to transform not just lives, but entire communities. And if we do it right, all of us together, it'll transform our society. And so I'm proud that we have the largest service corps in the universe. I am proud. I am proud that we are now in California larger than the entire Peace Corps. I am proud of we can clap for that. I am proud of what our service members do every single day to make our communities better and to make their own lives better. And we have a vision. We have a vision that here in California, everybody is given the chance to contribute, is given the chance to be part of their community, to be part of the solution, to be part of the answer. Because everybody matters. And central to our vision of making it so that everybody has this opportunity, the opportunity that so many of you have to serve with this institution, to serve in your community, is higher education. We believe higher education is fundamental to giving us the chance to give everyone the opportunity to serve. And I'm going to take you on a little journey. A journey that we started here in California and started with a couple of people in this room. A journey that started with President Gomez and Belen Vargas, who you met earlier. It was a journey where we in California and the governor said, what if we could make college more affordable while giving people the chance to serve? A deeply American idea. So we launched a pilot program with 8 universities that would pay students to serve in their community while they're in school. That pilot, because it was so successful, has now become College Corps. College Corps is on most UCs, most CSUs, dozens of community colleges, and is now providing debt-free pathways for thousands of students across the state of California, including for the first time our AB 540 Dreamers. Because we believe that everybody has something to contribute. And we are going to give everybody the opportunity to do that. And we think that higher education and service have to be married because what you do in the classroom is give people knowledge. When we give people the chance to serve, we give them the opportunity to find what President Deng described as their purpose. And when we combine these two, higher education and service, we don't just prepare the next generation of Californians for careers. We prepare them for meaningful lives. Think about that impact. At a time when people are desperately searching for meaning and purpose and connection, think about what we can provide for everybody. Thank you. So we are going to continue side by side with PCC to invest in higher education and service. Because if we invest in our people, in our neighbors, in our students, in our community, we don't just rebuild for the last fire, we prepare for the next one. And we get ready together to stand as one community no matter what challenge comes our way. And PCC embodies this vision. It is who you are. And it is why you are the model. You are the model not just for this community, but for the state and for what we should be doing across this entire country. Hold your head high because you are the model. And we see you, and we appreciate you, and we thank you for your passion, your dedication, your commitment, and your mission to educate and to serve. And I want to leave you with this today because today's an important day where we think about our hopes and our aspirations for the new school year. And as you think about how do we shape the future? How do we make it so that every student on this campus and everybody in this community can be part of building the future, contributing to the future, creating to the future, knowing that we need them for the future? You all play a critical role, and we need every single one of you. Thank you so much for having me here today. It is such an honor.
7 months after the wildfires, our region is still reeling from the destruction and the hurt that was caused by the fires. The lives lost, the homes destroyed, the futures turned upside down. We need that invincible summer now as much as we needed it in January as the wildfires burned. So today, we are proud to launch 2 new programs at Pasadena City College. The first is PCC's College Corps. We finally have a College Corps on this campus. Thank you so much. And the PCC is now an affiliate of Californians for All College Corps. Our program, slightly different. It was actually built through a lot of conversation between our leadership here on campus, our staff, and the staff in Josh's office in the state of California. Ours is going to be solely dedicated to the public purpose of supporting the recovery and rebuilding and the rebuilding of a community after a disaster. This fall, 20 students will be selected to begin an 8-month paid internship. By the way, we had 700 applications for this program. 700. 700. These are students that are ready to lead and to serve. They'll work with local governments, nonprofits, and organizations dedicated to fire recovery and community resilience projects. These fellows will receive up to $10,000 and also leadership training, course credit, and hands-on leadership experience as they serve our communities. I want to thank Vice President Salvatrice Cuomo, right here. You want to stand up here? Jackie Sakoto of the Freeman Center. Dr. Jason Robinson. They have been leading this effort with many of you in this room. I'm excited for our students and I'm excited for our community. In addition, today we are also announcing that PCC is establishing an institute for leadership and the public purpose. This institute will support and coordinate current and new leadership and service initiatives here at PCC. Our goal is for all Lancers to find inspiration to lead and serve in impactful ways through the Institute. The idea to establish the Institute emerged after witnessing the ways our PCC community stepped up to assist in the aftermath of the wildfires. PCC's commitment to leadership and the public good runs deep. It runs deep. We saw it in clear view during the wildfires, but we also see it each and every day. I'm also pleased to share that Josh Fryday has agreed to serve as co-chair of the Institute. Thank you so much. And so you know, this is a collaborative process. Everyone in our campus community is invited to participate in these discussions about shaping this institute. We're going to begin with 2 roundtable discussions. An in-person session will be held on Tuesday, September 16th from 12 to 1 p.m., and there will also be a virtual discussion which will be held Friday, October 3rd, also from noon to 1 p.m. More information will be available on our website. And now we want to capture a photo for history. So let's take a photograph.